part is a slow process. And that's fine. That's the nature of how it works. But we want to spend our available time trying to get into this site rather than looking in a broader region.
Gotcha. Yes, lots of interesting suggestions coming in from our viewers about different tools that could work. Also wondering about the crab here. This crab may be interested in meteorites as well, and hopefully not be getting too close to our suction hose.
Wish we could speak crab and ask him if he's seen any rocks go sailing by lately.
See anything kind of funky out here, crab? Well, I was a little remiss in starting this off without doing introductions around the horn, since things are looking and sounding a little different this year than normal for our frequent viewers. As we've mentioned on the website, our staffing has been reduced due to COVID mitigation protocols on board the ship. So folks like Mark and I are calling in from shore. But we also want to make sure that we check in with the folks on board the ship. So maybe we can do a quick round the horn intro, name, role, and one of the questions coming in from folks is how can the general public, how can students get involved with this expedition? So maybe with your name and role, also a piece of advice on how to get involved in ocean exploration. And maybe we can start with Erin, navigator.
Hey, Sam. So great to hear your voice from shore. Erin Heffron, I'm navigator on this expedition. Involved in ocean science. Well, I don't know, you just have to take any opportunity you get. We have great internships with Nautilus, and also quite a few universities with long time relationships with Nautilus that can help facilitate getting you on here, if not as an intern, then just as an operating mapper or navigator.
Thanks, Erin. I'll jump in briefly to say that we do have a fantastic science and engineering internship program, which is unfortunately on hold for 2020 and 2021. But there is information on our website to check that out. And we hope to be able to bring folks out again in that program. Thanks, Erin. ROV team.
I'll hop on. Hi, my name's Jess, and yep, part of our ROV team. And forgot the other questions that you asked though, Sam. Is this just a basic introduction? Sorry.
Yeah, advice for anyone who wants to get involved in ocean exploration.
Oh, yep, for sure. Yeah, as Erin said, definitely take advantage of any internship opportunities. Perhaps reach out to, if you're a student, maybe taking courses that are more robotics focused or oriented. Always helps to, oh, I guess that's very ROV specific. There's many other
ways
to get out there, but yeah, and always reaching out to professors perhaps through these kind of long-standing partnerships that currently exist between OET and Nautilus and universities. Perhaps there's also opportunities, I mean, coming out as a graduate student or something like this as well. So, yep.
Kim's vacuuming. I don't know if he's ready to talk.
It's okay, vacuuming takes a lot of concentration.
Well, I can talk if y'all want. My physiotherapist told me that I shouldn't be doing any vacuuming. At least that's a story.
Hopefully he's not watching.
That's a story I gave my wife anyway. Yeah, I do hear a lot of people, and with good reason, talking about university programs, but should also be said that like if you have qualification from like a polytechnical college or something like that in electrical or mechanical technology, most people that work ROV have one core competency that's useful out here, and then on the job training and cross training, and congeniality is very important when you're working out here. You're on a ship, close quarters with people, sometimes people that you don't know from Adam, and you have to get along. I'm paraphrasing because we're broadcasting, but ROV supervisor that I've worked for in the past said, I can teach any idiot to fly an ROV, but I can't teach that person not to be an idiot.
That's some pretty sage advice, Ken.
Yeah, pretty fair. Thank you, Kim. I have not seen the new control van setup yet. However, I believe next to you is Al still. Hello, Al. Is Al also vacuuming?
Yeah.
Since we're talking Al, can you go wide? Thank you.
That's a good intro.
You have to be very, very lucky. I'm a television broadcast engineer and cameraman, and my dream was to do this, but the odds of getting on a ship to do this are extremely, extremely rare or slim. And I was in my career for about 20 years and got lucky one day, as with a lot of jobs we get, as most of us are freelancers. Very few people in the industry are full-time. And I did a shoot with Dr. Bob Allen. And the conversation led to my Navy career, 4 years in the Navy. And we talked a little more, and he said, you got to get out to the ship. And that's how I ended up here. For people who are videographers or documentarians or learning to be, that want to do this, shoot as much science as you can. Networking is important. And diversified skills.
Thanks, Al. Yeah, I think that's the name of the game, as you can probably guess, folks watching at home, by just listening to the team so far. There's a lot of different ways that folks can get involved in this kind of work, and in science and technology in general. So I encourage you to check out the profiles of everyone below the watch. And I'll throw it over to Susie in the back row.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Susie.
I'm Susie Cummings. Basically right now I'm a PhD student at Oregon State University in Dr. Andrew Thurber's lab. And how I got here was basically by the good graces of Andrew and Nicole. I am interested in microbiology, and so that's what I've been studying at Oregon State. And in Andrew's lab, there's a lot of focus on methane seep communities. So that's what we are particularly interested in for this cruise. But I'm also really excited to see some of the deep sea coral stuff that's going to be happening. Yeah, so it's really cool to be able to get this hands-on field experience, well, hands-on so to speak, but this field experience, just being able to see all the different sorts of life that are in the deep ocean.
Awesome. And any advice you give to someone just starting out, looking to get into this kind of field?
Yeah, I think what's probably important, for one, is if you're looking for like a school program or yeah, just a school program in general. I think the important part is not to find the most prestigious place, but to find the place where you're most comfortable in the environment. So actually being able to talk to fellow students or teachers or staff who are all at the program, just find somewhere where you feel like you fit in well, and that's going to make you more successful in actually staying in that location. And I think this one's a little bit cliche, but being able to get like programming and computing skills is also super important in the field these days too.
I don't think that's cliche at all, Susie. Yeah, I would reiterate that, and just if I could jump back for a second, Sam, just to put a plug in for sciences like geology and ocean mapping. I think most people think it's all biology out here, but there's other backgrounds that that can get you on ship. But yeah, programming is very important for all of them. Some kind of understanding of how to manipulate data.
Yeah, definitely. I think, at least for biology, it's kind of emerging that there's a lot of data science and statistics and those sorts of things being more and more involved in biology. Like I do a lot of metagenomic sequencing stuff, and so that's a lot of computing, but it's been really exciting for me to learn that sort of thing.
Okay, you're gonna have to break down metagenomic sequencing for us.
Ah, yes, okay. So I don't know if folks have heard of like the Human Genome Project. That's basically giving the sort of the genetic information, which is like the biological template of how to make a human body. And so that's contained within every one of our cells. And so very small packages within our body. So the genome is just this informational template that's used to create all life that exists on Earth. So everything has its own genome. In terms of the metagenome, that means that we're looking at multiple different genomes. So we're looking at multiple different kinds of organisms, multiple different kinds of bacteria, and other kinds of microbes. And that's just wherever we can get samples from. So that's anywhere from talking about the human gut microbiome to looking deep down in seeps to figure out that sort of microbiome or that community of organisms. And so then we take those samples and then do some scientific extraction stuff, and eventually we're able to find the genetic code of all of the organisms that are present there. And then from that, we can do all sorts of different computer analytics to figure out what the organisms are that are present within that sample. And so it's pretty cool.
Interesting. Thanks for breaking that down.
Sure.
I learned something today.
Yeah.
And Susie, have you been out to sea before?
No, I haven't. This is my first time, and I am so excited.
Welcome aboard.
Thank
Sounds
you.
like it's been good so far. I know the weather is looking good now for you guys, but
for now, yeah.
Yeah. It is looking like it might pick up later in the week. So okay, well, we gotta do the lap then in the next couple days, it sounds like. Great. Okay. Let's see what other questions we've got coming in. So folks are tuning in from around the world. We have viewers in the UK, Canada, Sweden, Netherlands, Italy, Germany, Austria, Ukraine, Singapore, Norway, Ireland, Gibraltar, Belgium, and folks all across the US. So feel free to drop in where you're watching Nautilus Live from right now in the comment box below the video on nautiluslive.org. It's great to see viewers around the world tuning in as we continue this search for meteorite fragments. I'm guessing we might be doing some clearing of the suction hose right now, but I have a bit of a video delay.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Folks are wondering if we've seen any interesting critters during this dive. I know that's not the focus, but anything interesting drift by?
A little bit earlier on my watch, there was a little small red octopus, and we've seen a bunch of crabs that just seem to enjoy this hole that we're creating.
It does seem like we're attracting a crowd here.
Yeah, there's been crabs that have been walking in and out of frame, and there's the one that's just on the edge of this hole right now.
Hey folks, so just to jump in real quick, as we kind of near the last 30 minutes of our dive of bottom time, for the scientists on shore, do you want us to try stamping around in the hole again with the magnet before? Well, we should, but how many times,
Yes, please.
where type thing?
One last pass with a meteorite, once with the magnet, once you've excavated as much as you can.
Okay, great.
When do we turn into a pumpkin?
Sorry, when do we turn into a pumpkin?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, now that Mark said meteorite, hopefully it'll show up.
Yeah, no
another question coming in for yeah, no pressure, just a little bit of time left. I'll just take a couple more questions from the audience and then let you all get back to it. Folks are wondering how long the ROV team has been working with ROVs.
I guess I'll start off. I guess it's my 6th year working with ROVs. So 6th year with the Nautilus and 6th year with ROVs. Kim?
I have to be honest, I'm dating myself. My first ROV job was 1996, and I've flown a lot of different ROVs in Canada and notably in Japan, but I've never flown this one until last week, and I have to say it's interesting. I'm learning a lot.
I bet the thrusters are your favorite part.
Favorite part?
Yeah, are the thrusters is it the most different thing you found about this vehicle?
Virtually, I shouldn't say virtually, but keep it simple. All of the other ROVs that I've flown are what we call free swimmers. Basically a single body system. So like the down umbilical goes directly to the vehicle that's working on the seafloor. And there are pluses and minuses to that. If properly done, you can still decouple the ship's motion, pitch, heave from the vehicle by using floats near the vehicle to put a catenary, like an S curve, in the down umbilical. But it is still the tail that wags the dog. The two-part system, Argus takes all the abuse from pitch and heave. and Hercules life is very peaceful. Another advantage of the two-part system, which we don't have today because visibility is so bad, is Argus can provide area lighting and an overview of what Herc is doing and position relative to details of the environment around. On the flip side, the free swimmer, if you are working back and forth from a platform to an instrument or between two sites that are 50, 60 meters apart, you can just zoom over there. You don't have to move the ship. So some operations can be performed a lot more quickly with a single body system. So yeah, if you get the Jason guys and the Ropos guys in a bar, they can argue about this until the bar closes. So I'm not gonna try to say that one is better than the other. I get a lot of nasty emails either way.
I was gonna say, don't you have to kind of say that your favorite is the current ROV you're working with? Isn't there like a law, like otherwise it'll kind of start not working for you?
So doing work as an ROV contractor freelance, you learn to be equivocal and political to a fault. So
Okay.
yes, maybe. Definitely, maybe.
No favorite ROV yet. You still got a few weeks out on Nautilus. Well, we'll check back in.
All right.
Okay, we have got some great questions coming in. When searching for a meteorite, is it finders keepers? Is there, the question kind of comes from folks when they detect, use metal detectors on land, the landowner has rights to the finds.
So rules on that, laws on that change around the world, depending on what country you're in. I can speak about the United States. Generally, there's historical precedent that meteorites that fall in the United States are the property of the landowner. That's I think always been the case. In the case of this particular meteorite fall, it fell into the Olympic Coast National Wildlife Sanctuary, or National Marine Sanctuary. I keep screwing up that name. Sorry. And it is a federally managed, not facility, that's not the right word, entity here, parcel of land. So the agreement for finding meteorites from here would be similar to finding one in a national park. Basically the meteorites are not. The meteorites go to a meteorite, a recognized meteorite repository for research. In this case, they would go to the Smithsonian Institution once the initial round of research is finished, just enough to characterize what we have, and then they could be placed on public display. They could be loaned out for research. They could be loaned out for outreach activities. So that's the rules here.
Gotcha. And if meteorites are recovered today, where are they headed next for more analysis?
So they'll come to NASA Johnson Space Center along with the samples that were collected in the previous two dives, and by the Nautilus and the Falcor for initial research. And that amounts to answering just a couple of basic questions. First of all, what kind of meteorite is this? And well, that's the primary one. And enough information to basically characterize the meteorite fall so that we can understand this fall. This fall was a little bit different in some respects. So I mentioned earlier that this meteorite fall appears on weather radar, and the thing that's different about it is that it is, for the amount of that, for the size of the meteorite fall, it appears to be unusually reflective, highly reflective on radar, and that seems to jive with what we see in the samples. That basically this meteorite fall has a unusually high amount of metal, of nickel iron. This seems to be a metal-rich meteorite, of which there's a few different options for what it could be. None of them are particularly common, even amongst meteorites. So it's an unusual meteorite fall, and understanding exactly what kind this was is the primary research goal for analyzing the samples. Once that's done, the samples go to the Smithsonian, and they will enter them into their collection, and they will be could be requested by other samples or other scientists, and like I mentioned earlier, maybe put on public display, maybe put loaned out for outreach, all the things that the usual things that the Smithsonian and other meteorite collections do with their research, with their collections. And that will be the kind of the lifespan of these samples.
Fantastic. Sounds like
Thank you.
an exciting road ahead for them.
Sorry.
No, no worries.
So we're about to pull the magnet, large heavy lift magnet, for one last try at this. And I'm quite operate.
All right, well, I'll let you all get back to it for the last half hour or so of this dive. Our next dive, not shore team, I'm the shore team, shipside team. Our next dive is scheduled for 12 Pacific time, correct?
Yeah, that's correct, Sam.
Thanks. Okay, so next dive will be focused on one of the first methane seep sites. So do tune in for that dive coming up. We'll also take questions hopefully between about 12:30 and 1:30 as we're starting our descent down to the seafloor. So if you do have questions, you can keep them for the next dive. But in the meantime, thanks everyone for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of this dive searching for meteorites. Thanks to Mark and the whole team on board the ship for answering questions from the audience today, and best of luck. We hope you find something.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Right.
So we're gonna
Take care, everyone.
Thanks, Sam.
Bye.
So some stamping action here. Al, you want to zoom in partial, please? Thank you. Great. And Mark, on short, any particular action you want, or just some more stamping action going?
Just more stamping.
Okay.
Be as thorough as you can, since it'll be our last shot at it, please.
Roger that.
Pan and tilt's pretty hot too, isn't it?
Yeah.
For those of you watching on Nautilus Live, quick synopsis of what you're looking at here. This is a attempt to retrieve meteorites from a meteorite fall into the
Sure thing.
Olympic Coast National Marine Sanctuary. Basically, this is a spot that is identified as likely having a meteorite down under the seafloor. There was a circular pit here noted in other dives, and samples from that pit showed a pretty heavy preponderance of little tiny melt bits of meteorite. And the last
You're gonna come full wide there, Al. Sorry. Great.
spent most of the last 8 hours digging into this little pit as best as possible, and now we're trying to pick things out with a heavy lift magnet. So wish us luck. This is the last shot at it before we fold up and head home.
All right, so in addition to the stamping action, do you want the toy car sliding action going on the rim of this hole? Mark?
Yes, please. You know, as you see fit with the arm.
Sure thing. And just to confirm, you want inside the hole or outside or both?
Lost you for a second. Can you repeat that, please?
Oh, sorry. Would you like this both inside or outside the hole? Or both?
Inside, please.
Inside, Roger.
This is your last kick at the cat. You don't have to worry much about messing up the visibility.
Yeah.
Just stuff it.
Too much downward force. Do some smearing action. See where we're at here real quick. All right, Mark, is that pretty good for you?
Looks pretty good.
Right.
I like how you arranged for the dramatic magnet disappears into the mists part. That was nice.
The only indicator we have on the sky where it's at are the ROV handles, the orange one sticking up, the flag. All right, I'll give it a shake and then we can take a look at the bottom side. Make sure you guys are all happy with that.
Please.
I don't see a bowling ball. No grand piano either.
All right, there. I'll try to hold this steady for you as best I can. Go ahead and zoom on in. We got some stuff on it.
Some stuff, and there's some chunks in there. you know, that could be good. Honestly, you know, honestly, I was uh, disappointed that we didn't come up with a you know, some large rock that you can hold in your hand. But this I can work with. And the material, we haven't seen the material that's stuck to the magnets in the little basket around the outflow either in the dredge. So, you know, this was hoping to see large pieces, like large, like,
Good
you know,
come white owl.
softball, baseball. Yeah.
Do you want
But,
us, oh, sorry. Do you want us
no,
to deactivate the magnet, or do you want us to actually just keep it attached to the magnet as we come up from the surface, or come up to the surface rather?
you might as well leave it attached to the magnet at this point, and then try to get it off once it arrives at the surface.
Okay.
It'll be more stable stuck to the magnet than in the bottom of the box, I suspect.
Roger. And if that's the case, then we can probably probe around for another 5 minutes or so before we have to stow our toys and go.
Okay, excellent.
All right, just to get you some more potential suspects.
Just an update on ship. He is still bringing heading around quite a bit. Swells at 0.6 meters. It's really calm out there. Just talked to deck chief. He's up and about and waiting for some of the team to start mustering for recovery.
Roger. Great, thank you, Aaron. Loosen my grip here.
Do you know what heading he's planning to land on?
He's aiming for 130 now. I didn't quite gather how far he's gonna come around, but I could check. He's aiming for 160, so we have a bit to come around yet.
Roger. Okay, a few more stamps and then I'll stow the toys and get ourselves set up. All right, Mark, we'll take one more look at the bottom and then I'll stow this guy for you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Sure. All right, they're out. Go ahead and push on in there. Kind of a sediment storm, isn't it?
This is good. we'll have material to look through, material to examine. This is material from the site that produced the most material before. So I will
Wide, please.
collect this and see what meteoritic material we can find in there.
Great. All right, so now readjust my handing. About 8 minutes. Gonna go ahead and tool on out? Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Tim. Slightly awkward angle, isn't it?
Might need
Come about it a different.
more azimuth on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Get your elbow out in front a bit.
Yeah.
I think you're in. Getting snagglepuss out of there could be fun. Scrape them off on the edge of the box.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Can you park that? I'll give you a few.
Sorry. Oh, thank you.
So I want to thank you all for this, for doing this, for carrying out this search, for searching for meteorites here. Big thanks to everyone on the Nautilus and everyone at the Ocean Exploration Trust. I can work with these samples. I will find what I can find, and I think this will wrap up the story. And couldn't have done it without y'all. I got nothing but and yeah, you got big thanks to all y'all on the Nautilus, the Ocean Exploration Trust, and for NOAA and the Olympic Coast National Marine Sanctuary for making this possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's great to hear from you, Mark, and learn so much about what we're doing here.
My pleasure.
Pilots, I just heard from the lounge. I'm not sure if you heard that. They were saying that possibly put the magnet in the starboard box to be able to fully close the box on the way up. I think the idea is to put the magnet over so that you can get the forward box all the way in case there's any samples in the bottom.
We're both doing it. Right. that side got a scoop in it? Oh, that's
Not bad.
it looks to me like it's proud of the box, doesn't it? Yep.
Yeah, a little bit.
Not sure what the best plan is. So I tried turning it, or try putting it on the other side. Yeah, use both views. Nice. That looks promising.